In this video, I want to show you some techniques I've been using to just really quickly generate drafts for my TC2. So one of the things that I've been frustrated with when using a tool like Photoshop is that since it doesn't know I'm weaving, um, I have to sort of redesign every component every time I want to make a little bit of a change. So what's been nice here is if I just want to print, let's say, uh, 20 pics of a pattern that I've generated, I can go in and set this to the width of my loom, which is actually about 1,000 pics, but for the sake of demonstration, I'll just say it's 300. So I've created this template of a rectangle that's 300 warps wide. And before I weave it, I know that's going to need a selvage. And so I can go ahead and add this selvage tool. And this selvage tool will just add a selvage of however many pics wide to the rectangle that I give as input. And this tells me how many warp systems. So if I'm using 2 shuttles, I'm probably going to want to change that to 2. If I'm using 1, I'll keep it at a regular tabby. And this is just based on the selvages I tend to generate for my own weave files. Now, what I can do is actually give this different stitch structures as input and see what happens. And that's really where I start playing. So let's say I want to generate a rib structure and I want it to be a little uneven, and maybe I want it to be a 2-pick rib structure. So I could just sort of plug the rectangle into that. Oops, and it should show it there. Let's see if I can get that to update. Okay, I'm going to change that back to 300. There we go. So now it's updated down the line, which is nice. Okay, but now I want to do some sort of different things with my rib. So maybe I want to interlace it, which would be to alternate pics from different drafts. Maybe I want to interlace it with a twill. So I would go ahead and interlace these two together. I would make my twill, let's make it a little bit bigger so it's actually the same size as our rib. There we go. Maybe I'll do that. And then let's see, I still have some unset cells in here. You can see that if I zoom in. Here we go. So those gray cells mean nothing would be specified in that row. So I can go ahead and try to update my rib. Here we go. Nope, and I'll make it one longer. There we go. So now it's all filled in. Okay, zoom out. I can go ahead and now plug this into my draft and it will propagate down the lane again. There we go. Sometimes you have to change something to see it work. Although that's a bug that I will be fixing. So what's really nice about this is I can go ahead and change the parameters. I can just play with different arrangements. I can go in and do different things with it. So I've added some different features here, like if I want to rotate it or if I want to slope it. Sloping's kind of interesting because it just sort of shifts your pattern a certain direction. So you can kind of make it a little bit more noisy. I can also really quickly create double weave structures. So with this layer feature, I can say, okay, I want my top layer to be a rib and I want my bottom layer to be a twill. And it'll automatically generate me the structure such that it will weave this rib pattern on the top face and this twill pattern on the second layer. So if I actually wanted to go print this now, I download it as a bitmap. I just convert it into a TIFF file for my TC2, and then I can go ahead and weave it straight from there. And that's just been a really nice, quick way to create some experimental structures.